Quit wasting time trying to find yourself. The self is not something one finds. It is something one creates. Cultivate dignity and you will grasp the profound truth of this insight. You are what you do, not what you say you are going to do. And there will always be hurdles to overcome in life, including fear. Fear is an unpleasant, often strong emotion caused by expectation or awareness of danger. It can be sane, prudent, and rational. And it can be absurdly and patently irrational. Contrary to what the cultural myth makers tell us, true safety is acquired via the recognition of true fear. And confidence can be your greatest asset when it is founded on truth and reality. And now, the man who knows that life is an IQ test, Zebediah Funkbutter! Thanks, gang. Now let's go conquer some fear. You are in control of your life, so make a choice. Resistance through courage or compliance through fear. Notice what is promoted or subsidized versus what is scoffed at. Good, the transgender agenda. Bad, the nuclear family. Good, acceptance and legalization of drugs. Bad, rectitude. Good, daycare child rearing. Bad, mothers actually raising their children. Shame is a terrific motivator. Note the absence of shame in these actions: bankruptcy, welfare, teen, unmarried pregnancy. Seriously, how can anyone successfully navigate through this cess? You need your parents' permission to take an aspirin at school, but not to get an abortion. Oh, is this enough, Jimmy? And, which gender are you leaning towards today? You can get arrested for hunting or fishing without a license, but not for entering and remaining in the country illegally. A mirage is something that is seen and appears to be real, but that is not actually there. This describes those with irrational fears. An unbalanced and misaligned awareness, along with uncultivated methods of dealing with adversity, lead to worry and anxiety. Rational fear is a gift. Irrational fear is a curse, as attested to the following examples. School shootings are huge news stories that can run for weeks-long periods. Yet 3 times more kids are killed by lightning than by violence. Drug company advertising and their insincerity are partially illustrated when, for every $1 spent on research, they invest 19 on marketing. Because most medicines are now off patent and are dirt cheap. The fear of terrorism has also inundated the airwaves, yet you have a 1 in 9 million chance of dying in a terrorist incident. The heavy hand of government is infinitely more terrifying than anthrax, sarin gas, and other unwarranted fears. Illness du jour. As the annual scary deadly flu epidemics take the lives of less than 0.1% of mostly elderly folks. Meanwhile, that scary SARS virus resulted in 0 American deaths, and they laughably still bring up smallpox, although it was eradicated back in the 1940s. Ooh, look out for the bad guys! Over the past couple of decades, our murder rate has dropped 20%, yet media newscast stories increased 600%. This nonstop coverage of bad guys instills fear in the community, yet most crime involves people that know the victim. Airplane crashes are often publicized alongside previous accidents in order to disseminate fear. When you live in fear, it's easy to let others make decisions for you, and the government banks on just that. It would be quite imprudent to fear the safest mode of transportation, in which one has a 1 in 11 million chance of dying in a plane crash. And speaking of death, Do not be fearful. Embrace it, as this allows you to fully live before death, and if elderly, die with dignity. While other countries allow sick old people to die, Americans spend exorbitant amounts to keep them alive. Some find the idea of suffering for an extended period of time, then dying, to be abhorrent. It's good to have insights and realizations of things seldom thought about. It's called learning. Fostering a society based on everyone thinking alike and using social pressure to achieve conformity is known as political correctness, and is indeed something to fear. The premise of depriving citizens of their basic First Amendment rights to exercise a difference of opinion leads directly to compliance, brainwashing, blind obedience, and ultimately tyranny. One can only hope that the effects of rational thought become more appreciated and that the pastel PC pantsuit brigade gets forgotten. Although it is always best to not put yourself in situations where you would not have control over situations, natural and national disasters occur. Sometimes fear versus bold action is the choice presented where you must act and act decisively. Exercising a bit of forethought is wise because chance favors the prepared. Knowing how petrified some get over a short-term power outage, or how moronic some act when a traffic light goes out, a real national disaster will be magnified 1,000 times. Peace of mind is worth something. Prepare. Honesty, compassion, and loving kindness are the foundations upon which stability, prosperity, and happiness are constructed. I say right on.